Hi team, welcome to the next session for Edge for AvaTax. I'm Siddesh Waze and I've been with Avalara for 2.5 years. I'm a senior product manager with Avalara. I currently manage Avalara's Edge for AvaTax product. To level set, let's make sure everyone knows what AvaTax is. The AvaTax calculation engine melds taxation information like location, product taxation codes, and exemptions with transaction calls from business systems to calculate accurate tax amounts. AvaTax looks at tax rate for each state, county, and city. It also looks at laws, rules, and jurisdiction boundaries, and even special circumstances like tax holidays and product exemptions to give you accurate tax outputs. Edge for AvaTax also falls in calculation as it is an extension of AvaTax, which is our global tax calculation solution. Before talking about Edge for AvaTax, let's talk about the issues which we are trying to solve. Cloud portability is one of the major drivers for business today. There needs to be a solution which can calculate tax on multiple clouds. A lot of customers can have preference for a specific cloud and have all of their applications at one location. Many customers today have a direct link to a single cloud location, which helps them in better performance as they do not have to traverse the internet. Better yet, a lot of customers are looking at a solution which can be in their own paid and hosted version of cloud. All their applications are on that specific cloud, and they are looking for a tax calculation system to be co-located in the same location for better performance and stability. Low latency along with accuracy is one of the biggest deciding factors in the tax calculation systems, especially for e-commerce and marketplace businesses. They are looking for a solution which provides them correct results very fast, which doesn't lead to the cart abandonment. The customers are also looking for a solution which doesn't have jitters at peak transaction periods, which can be special event days or Cyber Week or Black Friday. Many customers today look at a solution which is single tenant and is highly available. They might have specific use cases such as batching, which requires them to have a single tenancy solution. They are looking at versions which can be installed in multiple locations and the ability to automatically route to a different instance if one instance is down to minimize downtime and loss of sales. All of these issues can be solved with Edge for AvaTax. So what exactly is Edge for AvaTax? Edge for AvaTax lets you install an instance of AvaTax into any cloud or in the customer's cloud environment. It is a solution built using modern technologies and is created using a hub and a spoke model in which we create a bundle of processes which are needed to be at edge, like the tax calculation service, address validation service, and content, and deploy it closer to the customer while still keeping some backend services at the hub. This helps us in creating a solution which is very portable and has the ability to be installed in various regions, different clouds, and can help install AvaTax across the globe. The Edge architecture is built upon a highly distributed, scalable model that allows Avalara to ensure the lowest amount of latency for tax calculations, along with a model which is portable across major cloud providers. The distributed nature of the solution provides the ability for an edge site to be hosted in the customer's cloud environment. Today, we are certified in AWS and GCP, and we are looking at the possibility of expanding to other clouds in the future. Let's take a look at current AvaTax and future edge footprint. Today, we have AvaTax located on the West Coast and is on AWS. Along with it, we have an instance of AvaTax on the East Coast on GCP. We are working to make AvaTax more resilient to add 2 more sites on the West and the East Coast on GCP and AWS respectively. This will cover AvaTax across entire United States and will help in minimizing the blast radius. As a last mile solution for the customers who need a customer hosted solution or a dedicated tenancy solution, we have Edge installed for them in the customer's cloud environment or in our cloud. Both of us will be managed by us. Edge provides real time data sync for account and content data across geographical regions. It also enables smallest footprint to maximize coverage and availability. Now let's expand this to a global implementation. As business needs justify, Edge can also enable easy expansion to other regions globally. This is a future conceptualization of how we can have Edge expand AvaTax globally. This is our vision. Today, we have AvaTax and Edge sites in the United States. Expanding the US footprint globally, we can have Edge sites in multiple clouds across the world. Conceptually, we can have Edge sites installed closest to the customer, be it EU, Southeast Asia, or throughout the world. The user traffic can then be redirected to the cluster based on region, features, type of customers, tax types, or any other parameters, thus enabling optimum performance for the customer. As Edge is an extension to AvaTax, it is important that all the features currently enabled in AvaTax work in Edge. And as such, there's a lot of feature parity in between AvaTax and Edge. With respect to the tax types, we are currently certified for sales and use tax, VAT, and cross-border. For transaction types, we can do quoting or route transactions to be committed to AvaTax, giving you full feature functionality of both sales orders and sales invoices. We also have support for other common functionalities, including exemption certificates and advanced rules on Edge. Edge is an extension to AvaTax, and as such, it works in conjunction with the same. All of the account information stays on AvaTax. The biggest change will be that the calculation will happen at the location closer to the customer, so the endpoints will be different. There is no need to change any of the APIs. Just point the application to the Edge endpoints. We have the following deployment models with Edge. Avalara hosted dedicated tenancy. Certain customers might need dedicated tenancy and want Avalara to host the solution. These would be high volume customers or specialty use case customers who might have specific use cases like batching. Avalara managed customer hosted cloud, where we can install Edge into the customer's cloud, which can be co-located with their application. This will be a single tenant solution, which will be deployed in a single cloud provider. Irrespective of the model, we manage the solution for the customer, which helps with better performance, high reliability, and very low stutter. Now let me take you through a demo of Edge. Since we want to keep Edge portable, we move only the important services on Edge. All the other backend services and account information still stays on AvaTax. With that, it becomes very important that once any updates happen on AvaTax, they are synchronized to Edge in a fast and an automated fashion and as painless as possible for the customer. I'll demonstrate this by adding a company in our CUP portal and show how easily and quickly it gets pushed to Edge. Let's take an example of this company, which I'm adding in CUP for the first time. Once I click on Get Started, I need to enter the legal business name. For the purposes of this demo, I can enter customer company next 123. I need to enter the phone number, but it's optional, so I'll leave it as is. Then I enter the taxpayer ID number. I'll add a dummy taxpayer ID number for this demo. We can enter any attributes if needed, but I'll skip that for now. Since this is not a standalone company or a child company, I'll skip this section as well and click on Next. Now I need to enter the address. For this, I'll add our AHT address, which is 255 South King Street. The city is Seattle. The state is Washington, and the zip code is 98104. we can actually validate the address to make sure that it is correct. We can use the validated address or keep the original address. In this scenario, I just use the validated address and click on next. I have added Washington for the region to collect tax. I do not want for this demo to collect tax in any other region. So I just click on this is complete. Again, for the purposes of this demo, I'll just use sales and use tax and not VAT and GST. So I click on no where I collect tax is complete. And I'm done with tax jurisdiction. Once I click on activate company, the company will be activated in AvaTax. Once that is done, the sync process will start moving all of the company information and tax rates and rules to all the edge sites. This information should have flown to the edge sites very quickly. Now the company is active in AvaTax. To demonstrate this, let's do a tax call. But before that, let me show you something else. Here, I'm using Postman and I've set up 3 endpoints, which is the East Coast endpoint, the West Coast endpoint, and the geo-routed endpoint. Because I'm running this transaction from the West Coast, the transaction time is sub 100 milliseconds if I use the East Coast endpoint, which is very fast. But if I use the West Coast endpoint, it becomes much better as the transaction turnaround time is very low. And you can see that the transaction time is sub 60 milliseconds. The geo-routed endpoint automatically routes the call to the closest endpoint. In this scenario, because I am on the West Coast, the geo-routed endpoint transaction times will be similar to the West Coast endpoint. As you can see, the transaction is sub 60 milliseconds, which is similar to the West Coast endpoint. The best advantage of the geo-routed endpoint is that if for some reason the closest endpoint is down, it will automatically point to the next best endpoint. Now let's update the company which we created as the company code. I'll update it for all the 3 endpoints which we just created. This is a single line transaction of amount 191.40. And as you can see, I'm using the same company I created just now. And we can see the sales tax being calculated of 19.62. This really shows the speed of the sync process, as very quickly the company we created was pushed from AvaTax to both the edge sites. Now that you have seen the demo, you can see that Edge is an extension of AvaTax, and the main goal is to expand the footprint of AvaTax. We are achieving that with working towards a couple of things. We are already compatible with AWS and GCP, and we are strategically looking to make Edge compatible with multiple other clouds. Global installation. Edge can be installed in AWS and GCP instance in US, and we are looking at making the solution be installed globally. You see that Edge is Avalara's answer to multiple things. It is an extension to AvaTax, allowing us to expand the product anywhere in multiple regions and multiple clouds. It is an entry into different cloud providers, as it can be installed in any cloud. Today, we are certified for AWS and GCP, and we are looking towards other clouds as well. It is an entry into the customer's environment, as it is a product which can be installed in customers' clouds and can co-locate with the customer's applications or can be installed on Avalara's cloud as well. Finally, it is a low latency distributed solution which is easy to install and is scalable to the same scale as AvaTax in a much smaller footprint. If you have any questions, please add it in the chat and I can answer that back. Thank you so much.